In this video, we'll be talking about the tattoo that I've sketched and drawn, took me forever to do it, that I'm actually getting today. Now, obviously, when I just need a little fix of pain, I can easily go get any of my tattoos touched up. And where I normally go to get my tattoos done, he does his touch-ups for free. But I'm going with a new place this time, and I have drawings that I will show you that I had been working with in order to create my new tattoo. My mom has a picture of a phoenix on her wrist. I came up with the idea and stuff for it, but I did not personally draw it, and she only wanted something little anyway. But I found a couple of pictures of phoenixes, including hers, and this was one of the first ones I was working with, but I didn't want it to be so blatantly realistic, and I didn't really care for the wings. I liked the way the wings sat straight, but that was kind of about it. I liked the fire in the tail and everything, but I didn't really care for it. In this one, I really liked the way it looked, but it wasn't what I was really searching for, and I really didn't care for the feathers in the tail. In this one, the main reason why I was working off this one is because I liked the fire in the tail, and I liked the way the wings were more laid out, but I didn't really want the bird flying away from me. So I ended up taking some aspects from the different drawings and everything, and after about 5 hours of sketching and drawing and using my light pad to kind of tweak some differences in my drawings and stuff, I ended up with an initial sketch. And I liked it, but it wasn't perfect. Well, after a couple more hours, I ended up finding a sketch that I ended up coming up with a sketch that I really liked. So I finited the lines that were in pencil in pen. So I figured, okay, this is as close as I'm gonna get, and this is what I really want, and this is what I really like. How about I try coloring it the way I want to, that way I know that this tattoo is perfect. And I scanned this copy into my computer and printed it out, so that way if I didn't like the coloration, then I could change it. And I ended up coming up with this. And this is the tattoo, and I'm hoping I can get clips of him actually doing the tattoo, because I've never actually done a video on that, and I think it'll be pretty cool. So, let's see what happens. So, I ended up going to Think Ink instead of Trademark, and I had to make an appointment with Stan about a week ago, I think it was, because apparently everybody gets tattoos during tax season. I don't know why I didn't think ahead of that part. The first thing I have to say about Think Ink is that I like to have had a heart attack. Why? Because, well, I was waiting because, you know, he was a little behind on his the process of the previous tattoo. So I sat there and I played a golden oldie on Craig's little simulator thingy. Nope, definitely not the stars. I forgot what takes the tanks out. Bombs, that's right. After a little while, I had to go to the bathroom though. So I asked him, you know, like, where's the bathroom? She said, go down the hall, past the black filing cabinet on the left, you can't miss it. So I go back there, I find the bathroom, and I open the door, okay? And I was like, these guys have a sense of humor, because they have a picture on the inside of the wall, on the inside of the door, that says, Jeff Goldblum is watching you poop. And it's a picture of Jeff Goldblum with, like, huge, like, Jufro curls and shit. And it's funny. But the bathroom's dark, so I started looking around, like, where's the light switch? And as I, like, turned to the left, like, in the corner, like, right there in the corner, is this 6-foot-tall mannequin with a freaking mask over its head and an arrow or a dagger or something through its forehead, fully clothed, shoes and all, scared the mortal shit out of me. Like, I threw myself into the door to get away from it. The light switch was right behind it. It scared the shit out of me. And I walked out, and the woman who was standing behind the counter, she already had a grin on her face. I looked at her, you knew that was going to happen, didn't you? She's like, a little bit. So I went over there and I was telling Mom and Cal about it and Craig, and I looked back at her, I was like, did y'all put that thing in there on purpose? Dude comes walking out of the bag, and it wasn't Stan, it was another tattoo artist with like an epic beard. And he was like, yup, we did. But anyway, I ended up having Craig be, you know, like my cameraman, but we couldn't record anything actually in his little cubicle tattoo room area, because he said he's had some bad experiences with people bringing cameras in. Apparently he's had a gaggle of girls try to like Facebook Live it. I told him, even though, you know, when he was going through the tattoo and everything, we were just talking, I was like, no, if Craig was gonna, you know, video or picture or anything, it was gonna be like from a distance, and he's probably gonna get a picture of me falling asleep while getting tattooed. But we ended up having to take a break. About halfway through, I think, he had the outline done, and he had like the wings and the head and the torso done. We weren't quite to the tail yet, because his hands were starting to shake and his neck was starting to hurt from bleeding over. So we stepped outside, and Craig took a couple pictures and stuff like that. But I went on back in to go get this finished up and everything. And he ended up, at first I thought he was like really broody, and he wasn't talking to me or anything. So I just figured I just put my headphones on and just listen to my music, because, you know, starting it is the most painful part, you know, because you gotta wait for the skin to get numb and shit. I do have to say though that this part right here on the inside of my arm was the most painful part. And you have to admit, he did really, really good job, because what I have on paper, I showed him, and he was fairly certain he could get like right on it. And I knew there was going to be some minor color differences because of my skin tone. I have a lot of yellow in my skin, so if you try to put white on my skin, it ends up looking a little greenish, which is what kind of happened with the cat on my leg. We tried to put white and pink into a fade in order to make it look like actual cat paw prints, and it came out looking like pea green. Didn't look right. Came out yellowy. It looked dirty. But anyway, he did a really bang up job, and I love it. I'm glad I was able to take the however many hours it took me to get the idea straight in my head, and then get the references from the pictures that I showed you earlier, in order to draw this thing to the specifications that I wanted with the colors that I wanted, and it came out beautifully. It took a while, and this part right here hurt. Like, the rest of this didn't really hurt at all. Like, of course the color hurt, because, you know, it's constantly like going over, and in order to blend the colors, he would have to go over it constantly, just like blending the colors. Really, the only part was the inside of my arm here, where it gets into the real tender meat. And you can see it's a little swollen, but I just had it done a couple hours ago. And it was how long did it take? 3 or 4 hours? 3 or 4 hours? Round in there somewhere? I don't know. I kind of dozed off, and I got into the car, and I was like cold from the adrenaline drop. I was super cold from the adrenaline drop. And even though it wasn't exactly warm outside, it was actually a fairly cool day, and the breeze was kind of, you know, cold. I was cold, and the sun felt warm. So we went to go get something to eat, because I needed some carbs. And we got back to Mom and Cal's place, and I ended up just standing against the car because the car was warm, so we could talk. And I almost fell asleep on the way home, but I ended up playing with the camera. And I'm going to tell you something. This one right here is going to be tricky for the next couple of weeks, because when I got this one done, it wasn't that difficult because I'm not right-handed. Okay, so it didn't bother me or anything. I just couldn't put my arm up on the windowsill when I was on the passenger side. This one, though, I was like constantly bumping it with the seatbelt. I ended up having to like put my arm up here and just like let it rest there. So I was like losing all kinds of circulation in my hands and shit, just so it wouldn't touch anything, because it hurts. Because This is the first time I'm having something with a lot of color done. Now, you saw that the lily has color in it, but it's like little fades of color. It's nothing vibrant. So this is the first bit that I'm actually having with color, like, really in it. And the rumors I've heard are true. Color hurts. But in all honesty, just to be completely honest, in my opinion, the color didn't hurt as much as the outlining. And I think that's because the outline always comes first. So, you know, your skin is getting used to the fact that it's just being drilled into, essentially. Once the area goes numb for me, I'm okay. It's easy breezing, except for this part. But anyway, that's pretty much the end of the tattoo videos that I had planned out. I guess I will make another video soon, and I hope you'll come back, and I love you all. Bye.